Hi there, and welcome back to the XS1100 trike project. It seems to be a long time since I've actually done anything with it, due to John and I working on my son John and I working on the GL1100 Gullwing, and also the Norton Navigator project, which we're waiting for parts now for that. So I thought I'd just do a little sort of one about trying to finish off the electrics, which we were halfway through, and I've started just getting a little sort of template together to put all the components on. Thank you very much for all the subscribers as well. All the people who have been subscribing have sent me a few messages of encouragement. It's the 28th of February, and although we're still in lockdown, I can't come up to the container because there's no one here. It's part of me job as well. I have been busy with the production company that I run warehouse for, but I'm hoping to get a few weekends in over the next couple of weeks, and we'll take it from there. So on the electric side of the trike, I've now pulled every single piece of insulation off the wiring, and it does look a bit more all over the place since we moved it over to this new container, but it's a lot better where I'm up to now. I've pulled all the lives back, labelled them all, so I know where they're all going. Gonna have to start looking at these connections. This yellow cable that's coming off the stator is only required if you're using the American spec loom and that the headlight is on all the time. Basically that feeds a relay, opens a relay up, which switches the headlight on as soon as you start the bike up. It sends, I think it's 6 or 7 volts up to the relay, which triggers the relay and switches the lights on. I've taken that out, don't need it. I've taken the reserve lighting unit out, which was sat on here in this bit. I'm thinking possibly about using putting the resistor, making a little bracket up and putting the resistor with some insulation over it there, and then it's reasonably close to the coils. I think that's a good plan. The regulator rectifier, which normally sits there like that. You can see that there. I most probably won't put that back there. I'm hoping I'm going to have enough room, which is the next job, making the battery box. I'm going to have enough room to put the regulator rectifier in the battery box. If not, this can always sit back up here, and I'll just use the original loom connected up there. And so that's where I'm up to at the moment. A lot of wires everywhere. I will mention that when I showed you about the relay last time, and how it works with the neutral switch and everything, I only connected it here in this particular position because that's where the connector was coming off the switch. This will not live where it is because at the moment it's in the ignition circuit before it goes to the coils. The bike will run in neutral, but as soon as I put it into gear, the bike would then switch off. The ignition would switch off because this relay has to be past the joins, mainly these here, which are going off to the coils. So there needs a bit of juggling about there. I'm trying to work out some form of the connectors that I'm going to use from the switch down to here, because I've still got the 2 wires for the brake lights, front brake light switch, which are these 2, the brown and the yellow and green, and then I've got the the 3 wires which are the feed to the tail side light and the main headlight, which these 3 do that. So I've got to sort that out. Might keep these split so that if there's ever a problem I can just disconnect, but I think I'm going to have to use a different connector because I haven't got one of these male exactly like this anywhere. Unless I start scouting the web, I might just end up snipping these, putting a different type of connector on. I think it's going to be easier. This is all the self-cancelling indicator unit and the indicator relay, which I've basically just taped up together to one side because that's going to be going in the electrics box as well at the same time, and then everything else that's down here is just going to be either cut back and then sent through to wherever it needs to go. That's another day. Okay, so this is what I've made up to now. I'm still not convinced about the battery. I'm thinking maybe getting a lithium battery. This battery's really heavy. Be a lot lighter. The battery will be sitting there at some stage. So all I've done is I've cut off it's just a little sort of template thing that I've done for now, but I'm sure I'll most probably end up using this, and it'll end up getting enclosed with a box of some sort. But basically I've put the CDI unit at the bottom, or the ignition unit, and the regular rectifier, and then there's an earth point here for the negative. Then you've got your main fuse here, which will come off the battery, which protects the whole circuit except the starter motor, which comes straight off the battery anyway without a fuse there. And then you've got the LED fuses and stuff which are there. The starter solenoid will most probably, I'm thinking of sitting that here coming off these 2 posts. The starter solenoid at the moment is on slots that went in on the frame itself. So I'd have to fabricate something just to do that. But this is the idea. I've got to put some wiring in. I'm not going to cut any of the ignition system yet, which is in the bike. I'm just going to put it into roughly where it's going to sit, and then I'm going to connect everything up, and then we'll take it from there and see. Okay, so this is saw the picture of it sat on the bench before. I know there seems to be a lot of wiring here, but I haven't trimmed anything down because that's the last thing to do, really, in all fairness. Once I've made sure I'm happy with everything. So at the back we have got the battery there, straight onto the starter solenoid. Then you've got the feed coming down off there, down onto the fuse, which is down here, 30 amp fuse, down onto the ignition switch, then off there onto the fuse box, which you saw in one of the other videos earlier, and then we've got a feed going up to the cut-off switch, a feed going up to which this will power the horn and the indicators and everything eventually, this one. But this is just running up to the neutral switch at the moment, going in on here. If I turn the ignition on, then we've got the neutral light up there. And I said if you put it into gear, that will go off and it won't start. So we have the main feed coming off, which runs through on the regular rectifier as well, which is fuse protected, and you got your ignition switch and which is running up to the cut-off switch on the handlebars there. Sorry for the glare, there's a light right up above us here. Now I've put the resistor for the coils for now, just bolted it onto the frame at the moment, just so it's out of the way. I still need to work out whether that's going to actually move down into here. I'm not too sure whether it has to sit within a certain distance from the coils. I need to check that. I'm sure someone will know about. Everything's connected up there. Cut-off switch, which is off at the moment. Put that on. There we go. I haven't got any fuel in it at the moment. I don't really want to fire it up due to not having a silencer on the exhaust at the moment. It'd be a little bit loud in here, to say the least. But I have had it running before we started doing all the electrics. And then you switch that off, and that's off. If I popped it in neutral, out of neutral, and put it into gear, now you see the neutral light is off. The switch won't work. Take it back into neutral, and it's there. I've taken one of the plugs out, and if we fire it up, just get in close. You can see that it's sparking away there. So just to give you a rundown, as I said, battery, starter solenoid. We have a feed from the starter solenoid that runs straight down to the starter motor, as usual on any motorbike, any car even for that matter. Then we have a feed going to a 30 amp main fuse, comes off there down onto the ignition. From there back into the fuse box. Got a feed going up to the engine cut-off switch. Got a feed, main feed that's running into the regular rectifier, which will be a feed that goes back to charge the battery as well when it's running. And then there's a feed that runs up, which will power the horn, the indicators. It'll do the neutral switch on the clocks, and oil pressure switch, and various bits and pieces like that. And then there will be eventually another fuse coming off here that will do the lighting circuit as well. But so then we have the CDI unit underneath. You can see that sat under there. The reason why I've put the CDI unit and the regular rectifier underneath is because it would be very rare that you need to take those out. The fuses are sat on top because you could bet your bottom dollar at some stage you'd need to get at those quite easily, and I'll end up putting a cover over all this and whatever as well. What I need to do next is start looking at if I'm happy where all these components are going to sit, then I need to start looking at trimming all the leads down on here, and once that's tidied up, then I can get on with the rest of the wiring circuit, or possibly get on with some other bits on the trike while I concentrate on other things. I do appreciate everyone watching these videos, and I'm sorry it's taken a little bit of time with the trike. I know there's a couple of people who have said to me, what's happening next? We haven't really fired up yet. Well, believe me, it does fire up. There's no exhaust on it at the moment. No silencer anyway, and I did have did clean the carbs up and everything, which you saw in one of the videos. But there are some screws missing off the diaphragms, which were a bit mashed, and I'd sooner get all that sorted before I actually fire it up. But as you could said from the video, you can see it sparking. You can see that it's actually turning over. And if there's anyone ever wants any advice and stuff, I'm not the world's greatest electrician, but auto electrician, but I'm sure I can help in some ways for various people. I'm so glad you're enjoying everything. The Norton, waiting now on parts. Struggling to get main bearings at the moment because they have to have the inner radius machined for them to fit on the lightweights, on the Jubilee and the Navigator. Norton Owners Club, I'm just waiting for them to get some in, and then I can get that done. I've started cleaning some of the parts up as well, and the XS1100. But John and I are quite busy at the moment. Even with lockdown, sort of there's a lot of stuff going on at the production warehouse that we work. Please bear with us. We'll try and get another video done as soon as possible. Thanks again, and I know a lot of people are in lockdown still at the moment, but things seem to be getting better. I got my jab the other week because I'm an old fart. Just be safe, everyone, and if you're riding, ride safe too. We'll have another video as soon as possible. Cheers.